everyone, buckle up because we're diving into the world of crypto and travel. You know how you're always asking us to break down the latest trends? Well, we've been digging through a stack of articles.
Miles and piles.
Right. A ton of analysis on how crypto is changing the travel game. We're talking pros, cons, and real-world examples. By the end of this deep dive, you'll be able to school anyone on the future of vacations. Did you know there are already platforms where you can book your entire trip using crypto?
It's true.
Wild, right?
It really highlights what might be the most appealing thing about crypto for travel international payments.
Oh, tell me about it. The juggling act with different currencies, the fees.
Yeah, crypto could wipe all that away, make it so much smoother.
Yeah.
Especially in countries that are already ahead of the game. Switzerland and Malta, for example. They're all in on crypto, making it easy to use for travelers.
Smoother transactions are great, but what about security? I don't know about you, but when I travel, I'm always a little worried about carrying cash or getting my card skimmed.
Totally get it. But here's where blockchain technology swoops in. It's the backbone of cryptocurrencies. It adds this whole other level of security. Imagine, for every transaction, it's like you're trying to change one tiny detail on thousands of identical ledgers at the exact same time.
Okay, that's a pretty powerful visual.
Right, and that's the beauty of blockchain. It's almost impossible for hackers to mess with it.
So it's not just about convenience, it's about peace of mind too. But how does this all affect the travel industry as a whole?
Get this, it's already shaking things up. We're seeing decentralized booking platforms popping up. They cut out the middleman completely. Lower costs for travelers, new ways to connect directly with service providers. It's exciting.
These centralized platforms, that's fascinating. Can you paint me a picture? What does that actually look like for the everyday traveler?
Okay, imagine this. You're planning a trip to Thailand. You find an amazing local guide online and book a tour directly with them. You pay securely and instantly using crypto. No big booking agency involved.
Wow, that changes everything. It feels like crypto could empower both travelers and local communities in ways we haven't even thought of yet.
Exactly. And this is especially important in places where traditional banking systems aren't as developed. Cryptocurrency could open up so many doors for people and businesses that have been shut out by the traditional financial world.
Okay, so we've got all this incredible potential on the table, but I have to imagine there are some challenges too, right?
You're right. No revolution comes without its battles. One of the biggest hurdles is volatility.
I was wondering when that would come up.
It's like the stock market. Those crypto prices can swing up and down like crazy. Creates a lot of uncertainty for everyone, businesses and travelers alike.
Yeah, I can see that being a deal breaker for some people. Like, imagine booking a flight with Bitcoin and then its value plummets before your trip.
Exactly. And then there's regulation, or the lack thereof. The rules around crypto are constantly changing, and they're all over the map, depending on where you are in the world.
It's the Wild West of finance out there.
That's one way to put it. This lack of clarity makes it tough for businesses to operate confidently, and it makes it hard for travelers to know what to expect. Like here in the US, you've got Expedia and Cheap Air welcoming Bitcoin with open arms. But other countries are way more cautious or have totally different rules altogether.
So much potential. But also, kind of sounds like a roller coaster ride. Where do we even start as travelers?
Right, a million Satoshis question. But get this, even with all that uncertainty, the experts we read, pretty optimistic.
Really? They think this is actually going to take off with all those bumps in the road.
I think they see those bumps getting, smoother over time. More like a gradual merging of crypto payments into the systems we're already using.
So instead of booking with Bitcoin directly, I might see it as an option on Expedia right alongside my credit card.
Exactly. Just another way to pay. And we'll probably see more of those hybrid models popping up, combining the best of crypto with the reliability and familiarity of traditional finance.
Best of both worlds. But how do we get there? From all this uncertainty to that smooth hybrid future.
Well, the experts seem to think that as governments and regulators start to, figure out this whole crypto thing, we'll see clearer guidelines for using it internationally. That clarity will be huge for giving everyday travelers more confidence.
Makes sense. When people know the rules of the game, they're much more likely to play. But even if paying with crypto becomes more common, that volatility issue isn't just going to disappear, is it?
True. Volatility is a major concern. And it's actually one of the reasons the whole HODL concept took off in the crypto world.
HODL, I've seen that online. What does it even mean?
Basically, it's crypto slang for hold on for dear life.
Okay.
It started as a typo, but it's become this mantra. For people who truly believe in those long-term gains, they ride out the ups and downs, the volatility.
So it's a long game.
Exactly. And it speaks to this underlying belief that cryptocurrencies, especially Bitcoin, might actually be a better store of value over time than traditional currencies because of its deflationary nature.
Whoa, hold on. Deflationary. You're going to have to explain that one.
Okay, so think of it this way. Unlike regular money, which can be printed like crazy by governments, which can lead to inflation, your money becoming worth less, Bitcoin has a limited supply. Only 21 million coins will ever exist. It's built into the code.
So if the supply can't keep growing to meet demand, the value should go up.
You got it. That's what makes it appealing to some as a hedge against inflation, especially when the economy is a little shaky. But it's important to remember, like anything else, lots of different factors can impact the value of any asset, including Bitcoin.
Right. Still a lot of unknowns. But we've been talking a lot about Bitcoin specifically. What about all those other cryptocurrencies out there? Do they have a role to play in this whole crypto travel revolution?
Such a good point. It's not a one-horse race. Bitcoin might be the most well-known, but there are thousands of others, each with its own quirks and uses.
So it's like different cryptocurrencies for different parts of a trip.
Exactly. Some are built for super fast transactions. Others are all about security or privacy. Some might even be tied into loyalty programs, making it easier to rack up those rewards points.
Okay, this is making more sense now. So it's not even just about if crypto is going to change travel, but how all these different cryptocurrencies might change different aspects of the industry.
Absolutely. And the sources we looked at seem to think that we might see a sort of survival of the fittest situation play out. The cryptocurrencies that really thrive in the travel world will be the ones that solve those big challenges we talked about. Volatility, regulation, adoption, user-friendliness, the whole 9 yards.
Ease of use is huge. The average traveler doesn't want to have to become a crypto expert to book a flight.
Absolutely. But this leads us to another fascinating angle from the articles. Imagine a world where your digital identity is directly linked to your travel profile.
Okay, now that is interesting, but I'm going to need you to break that down for me. What does that even look like?
Picture this. Your passport, visa info, vaccination records, loyalty program details, everything's right there, secure and easy to access, all through a decentralized crypto-based system.
That sounds incredibly convenient. No more digging through emails for booking confirmations or worrying about losing paper documents. But it also sounds a little intense.
It's a double-edged sword for sure. On the one hand, it could streamline everything. Imagine breezing through airport check-in and hotel bookings, getting personalized travel recommendations based on securely stored preferences.
Okay, yeah, that does sound pretty amazing. But what about privacy? All that info in one place, even if it's secure, it feels a little Big Brother-ish, doesn't it?
You're right to point that out. Like any powerful technology, especially one that handles personal information, there are valid concerns about privacy, security, and control. Those definitely need to be addressed.
This feels like the tip of the iceberg.
It is. And the conversation goes way beyond just the technology itself. It's about how we as a society deal with the ethical and societal impacts of these advancements.
It's amazing how a conversation about booking a trip can spiral into digital identities and the ethics of data. We've covered a lot.
We have. And it just shows that crypto is just one piece of this giant puzzle when we think about the future of travel, really, the future in general.
Okay, before we get too lost in the metaverse, let's bring it back down to earth for a minute. What are the key takeaways for our listeners?
First off, crypto has some real tangible benefits for travelers, especially when it comes to those international payments. We're talking about smoother, potentially cheaper, and more secure transactions.
No more scrambling for cash at the airport.
Exactly. And then there's the whole emergence of new ways of doing things, like those decentralized booking platforms, which could be a win-win for travelers and local communities.
But, and this is a big but, there are still some hurdles to clear before crypto becomes as common as using your credit card on vacation.
For sure. Volatility is still a thing. Regulation is all over the place. And we need to see more widespread adoption from both businesses and travelers.
So for our listeners who are intrigued but maybe feeling a little intimidated, what's the best way to dip their toes into the crypto travel world?
Do your homework. Learn the basics of cryptocurrencies. Check out platforms that are already accepting crypto for travel bookings. And don't be afraid to start small.
Like learning a few key phrases before you go to a new country. You don't need to be fluent to get by and have an amazing time.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe in a few years, pouts for your trip with crypto will be as normal as booking a flight online.
Now that's a future I'm excited about. All right, everyone, that's a wrap on our deep dive into the world of crypto and tourism. We hope you've enjoyed the ride and, more importantly, feel ready to navigate this ever-changing landscape.
It's a fascinating time to be a traveler, and the future is wide open.
For those of you who want to keep exploring, we've got some additional resources linked in the show notes. In the meantime, safe travels, whether you're venturing into the metaverse or just booking a good old-fashioned getaway.